to speak to us on this particular matter. Mr. Awuku, good evening. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, Mr. Yafi, and thank you for having me. Sorry, I've been on the campaign trail with Dr. Banga. That's why your team tried reaching me, and it's been difficult. I've been in the Eastern region for the past few days.
I understand. Thank you for your time again. Mr. Awuku, yes. This particular disbursement, as published by the Fourth Estate, what are these, disbursements?
Well, I find, first of all, Sammi, let me set some few things in proper context. The NLA, by the Act 722, established to raise revenue for the state. Then also, if you go to the Act 722, Section 23, the NLA, as part of the operation of Lotto, must have a special lottery with the sole aim of using its proceeds to support the destitute, the orphan, the aged, the physically and the mentally afflicted. It is these categories that the World Lottery Association deem it and categorizes it as good causes. I want your listeners to get the preamble right. And this was what I explained to the Fourth Estate people right from the beginning when they had an interview with me on the 18th of August. The NLA must first of all operate that specialized lottery. We call it Caritas. I hope you understand. Caritas is that platform that interfaces between the NLA and corporate Ghana. Corporate Ghana, you can decide to pitch with ordinary staff who work with organizations. When I became Director General of the NLA in August 2021, the NLA over the last 4 years from 2017 to 2021, there had been a hiatus. More or less what was in the kitty of the Caritas that they had raised for the last 4 years was around 100,000 cedis. That 100,000 cedis cannot support that good causes of supporting the aged, the destitute, the poor, the physically and the mentally afflicted. So, together with the board, we decided to relaunch the Caritas in October 2021. I became Director General in August. So, within 2 months, I figured it out that there was a problem. And the problem is that the NLA must invest in the brand Caritas so that we can get the needed revenue out of it to support our good causes. There must be a nexus in that regard. So we decided to, together with the marketing department, we also launched the Good Causes Foundation in the same October. And the seed money for the Good Causes Foundation was personally lobbied by me, because I built very good relationship with the Ivorian Lottery boss, who happened to be the African Lotteries Association president. And I made a plea to him that Ivory Coast had a functional Good Causes Foundation. And he said, Sammi, I can support you in what you are doing. And I said, if it's possible for you to give us some support. This man then gave seed money of $60,000. And in check, it was transferred by the Ivorians and designated to NLA. If I was criminally minded, I would have spoken for myself. That is even on the side. Then the good causes took off. When we decided together with the marketing department of the NLA, LCTFM, ChannelOne, sometimes your colleagues even come to NLA without looking for me. They come to look for the marketing department people, and my people come to you. Then, in collaboration, we decided to pitch with some big stations like yours. Decided to also sponsor programs that will give us revenue. Then also decided to also pitch at high-level programs. 1 is Ghana CEO Summit, 2 is Ghana Club 100, and 3 is Emmy Africa. You know why? Because these are places you are likely to find the captains of industry. And these are places that, again, you are likely to find the decision makers. So then the NLA will chip in and sponsor some of their programs so that we get the opportunity to showcase our products in the area of Caritas. And this initiative of mine grew the Caritas, what was in the kitty, from 100,000 that I came to meet in 2021 August to 11 million cedis when I was leaving. You cannot tell me that the NLA should not sponsor programs that will help raise that revenue to support good causes. Again, I find it pathetic and strange that any payment from NLA for even corporate sponsorships is deemed as good causes money. How can you categorize it like that? Because the NLA performs good causes. That is one. The NLA also has a CSR that it performs. Before good causes was launched, there was a CSR that they called Special Projects Department. And they were already doing CSR before. But now when I came in, I decided that let's streamline it so that whatever you are doing when it comes to corporate sponsorship, we that will get brand affiliation. And then secondly as well, you can also get brand visibility, create top-of-mind awareness, raise the revenue to support your good causes. I'm surprised that Fourth Estate are also saying NLA gives CTFM 250,000 cities or so. So I want to understand. And they call this questionable payment. Like, seriously, CTFM and Media House, they give us their platform. We collaborate with them. Heritage Month, they take people around. They are also marketing our products. They give us free adverts. So how are we supposed to collaborate with them? Again, you spoke about the Chief of Staff's office. The interesting thing about what the Fourth Estate did was that they lumped the payments over 3 years into one and create the impression as if NLA at a go gave 350,000 cedis to the Chief of Staff's office, which is palpable falsehood. It is not true. If the NLA supporters SIP March 100,000 this year, next year they support government's initiative again on the SIP March, another 100,000. The third month we do same. Wait, is it wrong for a revenue generating body as part of Ghana's independence celebration? NLA chips in 100,000 support, not 350,000, 100,000 support for that whole year as our contribution towards it, and it is problematic. I find it weird. Now to the Attorney General's own that they put out. The Attorney General is represented on the board of the NLA. The Interior Ministry is represented on the board of the NLA. The Finance Ministry is represented on the board of the NLA. And these institutions, ministries represented on the board of the NLA, the NLA board decides, apart from the 4 pillars of health, education, youth and sports development, arts and culture, the board also decides by its own discretionary powers that, okay, Director General, up to 100,000 cedis threshold, you can also sponsor things that you believe of strategic importance. Together with management and peer advice, you can also lead us. So the Attorney General's office, they bring prosecutors they want to train, they ask NLA to support. At no point in time did NLA make a lump sum of 500,000 cedis plus to the AG's office. It is not true. At no point in time. My threshold is 100,000 cedis as a CEO. Anything above that, you go to the board. So it should clearly tell you that if there was any payment of a lump beyond 100,000, then it was a board decision. So I find this weird, and I don't even know why we are even knocking heads over it. And I have said, look, and I tell you an interesting thing. When I got to the NLA 2019-2020, so year ending 2019-2020, had paid 20 million cedis into the consolidated fund. So more or less, so it reflected in our 2021 financial statement. If you pay 20 million, we paid 20 million into the consolidated fund. At the time, the NLA owes unpaid wins of 17 million. Meanwhile, the Act says that after you have paid your wins, after you have paid your overhead costs and operational expenses, what is left is what you pay into the consolidated fund. So if you pay 20 million into the consolidated fund, whilst you have a debt of 17 million cedis, then that means you are not even satisfying the spirit and letter of that provision. So when I came in together with the board, I said, look, we need to turn this institution around. What we decided to do was that give ourselves some time, turn the institution around, and make sure the NLA becomes viable. In 2021, NLA made losses of 17 million. So in 2022, I turned this loss-making entity around to record profits of 2.5 million in 2022. In 2023, I recorded profits of 2.7 million. In 2024, when I was leaving the NLA with their own audited financial statement now, NLA made profits of 10 million. So if somebody says somewhere and say that I met the organization in good health and I left the organization in bad state, then the person doesn't even have the audited financial statement. The health, in fact, the strength of an organization, if it is collapsing or standing, is found in the audited financial statement. So if I met 17 million debt and I left the NLA as a profit-making institution of 10 million, what's the issue? You can question some of the discretionary decisions that the board and the DG took. However, it is in the DG and the board at that point in time believe that the NLA needed to take strategic decisions to woo in corporate Ghana, to associate with some brands, to support young people, to support across. And we've done thousands of good causes projects across the country. So if you are selective and pick 1, 2, 3, 4, that you think these were questionable enterprises, if Caritas is empty, how does that support good causes? Yeah, the NAM and the YNAM. NLA sponsored African Prosperity Dialogue. You know the interesting thing? There was a Namibian that came for that program. And that Namibian, after the African Prosperity Dialogue, then came to see the NLA. Today I saw a picture where the DG of the NLA took a picture of the Namibian lottery boss because he's coming to learn the model that I left behind. It is through these sponsorships of any Africa, that of Ghana CEO Summit, that the first year that I came, the NLA's 100,000 in the Caritas moved to 1.5 million within 12 months. I moved that Caritas revenue to 3.2 million in the second month, moved it to almost 6 million before I left the NLA.
I've seen a statement you issued, talking about the numerous interventions in areas of education, health, culture, and the rest. But then the worry for many people is the AG's department one, which you mentioned that, they come to you for support to train their lawyers and the likes. But then again, others train prosecutors. Thank you.
See,
but then again, Mr. Awuku, hold on. Mr. Awuku, hold on.
Before you, okay, sorry, that's fine.
Sure. But then again, people will also argue that the AG's department has a budget. The budget of Ghana makes allocation or disbursement to the various ministries, departments, and agencies. So the AG's department, for instance, couldn't have used their own budget to train these prosecutors. Must NLA come in to help?
So first of all, under Georgina Wood, the former Chief Justice, the NLA appealed to her to create specialized courts. When these specialized courts to try illegal lottery operators were created, the prosecutors were not trained on our lottery. Under Justice Eni Yeboah, we made frantic efforts and we built that relationship. The AG's office then decided that, look, now going forward, at least to help the NLA, especially when we had embarked on swoops across the country and against illegals, the NLA too must support from time to time in the training of prosecutors and our lawyers at the AG's department. And let me repeat, at no point in time did we make a lump sum of that 500 something plus you're talking about. You are talking about payments within 3 years. Within 3 years. So if you are creating the impression as if a lump sum was lifted and given to AG, a lump sum was lifted and given to Chief of Staff Office, a lump sum was lifted and given, that cannot be accurate. It cannot be accurate. And I really want to see what exactly that, first of all, I'm very attached to journalistic work. And I believe that I'm one of the people that I believe that I'm a creation of the media. And so I hardly will go on a banter. And again, I believe that if you do not get to understand the operations of the NLA well, it is likely that you are bound to make false analysis and judgment. In fact, when Fourth Estate came to interview me, apart from good causes matter, they interviewed me on third-party contracts, and that of the KGL, that what KGL is doing, why can't the NLA do it on its own? And I said that our act, maybe you don't understand our operations. NLA does not sell directly to the public. If you come to the NLA, technical service providers, lotto marketing companies, private lotto operators, collaborators are all third parties. So if you don't like somebody's face, you are only asking that another face be replaced. But don't say NLA should do it directly because our act doesn't allow us to
Mr. Awuku, I know you're on a campaign platform, so I won't take much of your time. But then before I let you go, did a good cause, project benefit the poor and the needy in any way, aside the ones listed by this media outlet?
I mean, there are thousands of them. And the NLA did, in fact, last year as well, with the daily graphic, they also highlighted many of it that we're doing. We've said many on platforms and on social media. For instance, they pick why we gave 50,000 studies to the Atta Mills Institute. Really, Atta Mills Institute, the former president's foundation, we partnered them. They used that money to even supported themselves to build a corn mill factory, processing factory at Gonteng, and renovated a school block, where now you have kids and children learning in these classrooms, and you have communities benefiting from this corn mill processing plant. Again, if you go in the area of health, we have supported many institutions and collaborated with a lot, including menstrual health, period, and all those things. If you go to education, we renovated several classroom blocks, in fact, and built classroom blocks. If you go to the area of arts and culture, we supported Nananom right from Akwemufie to Ogwafi to Afase, right from Ekwapim Ojra to Hogbechuchu, across the country.
Okay.
And then again, you see, the other danger is that if anything you want to go by the 4 pillars, I kept telling them, you will make a mistake. If you take the Apiate explosion that occurred, which of these pillars can you place it under? That explosion cannot come under health, education, youth and sports, or arts and culture. But it is a disaster. NADMO came to us on a couple of occasions and we supported them. So what are we? Unless somebody wants to be deliberate that at all costs, let's pin these people down. That's a different matter. We took decisions at that time as board and management, and I also do not regret that over 150 staff of the NLA got the opportunity when I was Director General. We collaborated with the University of Ghana for these over 150 people to have short courses, certificate courses, to train them in modules that can help the NLA's operation. Someday, one of these products can become a Director General or a Director this or a Director that. You build more leaders because you don't go there and only leave more followers.
Mr. Awuku, thank you.
Again, I don't regret supporting our staff in this.
Okay, all right. Sammi, thank you very much for your time. Sammi Awuku, former Director General of the National Lottery Authority and also a Member of Parliament for the Ekwapim